Okay, meeting opened 8 p.m. Welcome to the general meeting of the Toyota Land Cruiser Club. I am Bob Fife, TLCC President. On my left are Greg Norris, Vice President, Alan Kidd, Club Secretary. Our Treasurer, who is normally to my right, is not here tonight. He's over in Western Australia, I believe. Are there any visitors or new members tonight? I know there's at least one. On behalf of the committee and all members, I welcome you to tonight's TLCC general meeting. As trust the club meets with your expectations. We've already come across a couple of issues, but I'm sure we'll get those sorted for you. If you have any questions about the TLCC, aside from asking me, you can ask any of the committee or any of these youngsters here in front of us. Oh, Rob, you're really youngster, I think. Present as per the attendance book. Apologies, David and Heidi Rowley, Sally and Noel Rippengale, Sue and Ken Duffy, and Leslie and Jason Butler. Are there any other apologies that I might have noted but didn't know about? Okay, thank you. The minutes from the previous meeting have been posted at the back of the room. I propose that the minutes of the previous general meeting held on Monday, 1st of May 2023 be taken as read and confirmed. Do we have a mover, please? And a seconder? Okay, announcement by the President. On a sombre note, well, it's partly sombre, Sally Rippengale had advised me that she and Noel will not be attending general meetings in the future, due partly to her well-publicised health issues and Noel becoming less in love with driving at night. And I know where he's coming from. But for Sally, being here and standing for long periods has become just a little bit too much for her. So you'll see some signs down the front here that Katie has made up for Sally. I think we're all going to miss her. But on other health notes, Katie is getting better and better every minute. And she's got so much hair. I'm jealous. And Carl, it's good to see you here again. Carla Riviere, and even though you've lost quite a lot of weight, you're here and you're getting about and you seem fairly chirpy. I've had correspondence with Gary and Elkie, and they are, along with Bob and Shirley, have been to and left Alice Springs, and they're still in good order. So we're glad to hear that they're going okay. Now, a plug from last month. I don't want to always repeat myself, but as we all know, these general meetings are video recorded and are published for viewing one later on the club website. In order that the audio of these meetings be heard by all on-site viewers, it is necessary that any members on the floor talk into a handheld microphone or speak from the rostrum here at the front at the hall adjacent to the committee table. Anyone wanting to speak from the rostrum will have not wanting to speak from the rostrum will have a microphone brought to them before they commence speaking. So if we can try and do that, what happens when people view the video, if we don't do that, they hear the answer, but they don't hear the question. So it doesn't quite work as well as it should. So Vice President Greg, do you have a report at all?
No, Bob.
We should have rehearsed that. Treasurer's report. I'm afraid there won't be a Treasurer's report this evening because Mark is not here. Education. Gary is away. However, I can just put up a little bit from the driver training for May. And it's almost like a win sheet, but it's not meant to be. After 22 acceptors who all came to Module 1, we ended up with 16 certificates being tendered. One individual decided that he wanted a refund of his membership fees as he wanted to find a course particularly for Jeeps. I suggested he might miss the use of the club's 2 properties, but he said that he would prefer the properties to be north of Sydney in lieu of south. I gave up at that stage and refunded part of his fees. I thought, I'm never going to please this person. We had another individual decide that he only came for Module 1 and never intended to be there for the weekend. A couple decided they wanted to defer until they did do some modification to their vehicle, and another couple with a Suzuki had vehicle failure before the vehicle reached the building block. As it turns out, they're now booked in for September, and whilst their car was taken home on a flatbed, it turned out to be a switch somewhere in it which wouldn't allow it to go into 4-wheel low, and only cost them $290 to have the thing fitted and fixed, so a bit unlucky, I think. But then, just to add to the woes, Charlie Cataldo, who most of you would know, also went home on a flatbed after his front near side suspension collapsed. Thanks to David Coombs for helping Charlie to mock up the suspension so that the vehicle could then be gotten to the front of the property in lieu of in its position down near what we call the forest, where a tow truck could never have got in to get him out. So yeah, that was a good bit of mock-up by some of the driver trainers. So that was very good. But Charlie's up for far more money than the $290. I think he said the mechanic had told him that his driver's side suspension is not all that flash on the front too, but he can't afford to do both at the one time. So we hope we see him at driver training again soon. Promotions is next, but we don't have a promotions officer at this time, so there's no report. Anybody here would like to be a promotions officer? Carl, you know a bit about it. Okay, well, there we go. Social Director's report, Debbie. Oh, here she is.
Hi everybody. Our fireworks spectacular at Coolandillaly is on next Saturday night. We have a whopping 209 adults booked in and 97 kids, so it's going to be a spectacular and very busy evening. Thanks to Andrew and Lisa Boyd, who have once again volunteered to coordinate the event, but thanks also to the Working Bee members who attended Coolandillaly last weekend, preparing the property, building our big bonfire and getting the barbecues all spruced up. This is my first fireworks event and I'm getting pretty excited to see it all take place. So if you're booked in, I'll see you there and we'll kick off with big barbecue at 5 p.m. I have a great contingent of willing volunteers to assist with food on the night, but as you can see, it's going to be a big event, so we need plenty of helpers to make sure that we can run on time. If you're coming along and are able to lend a hand for an hour, please come and let me know. Many hands spread the load on everybody. I also want to thank David and Pauline, who are members up the back there, who've offered to donate some bread rolls for our dinner from their Baker's Delight store at Richmond. So thank you, guys. So what's next? Halloween at Coolandillaly, which is the last weekend in October. As many of you know, I have previously planned a holiday and I'm unable to attend the Halloween weekend, so I'm calling on all Halloween enthusiasts to help me out, to help the club out so that the event can run this year. Have you previously enjoyed a Halloween at Coolandillaly or think you may be up to the challenge to assist with planning and coordinating this year's events? We need you. If you or a group of you are interested in taking this on, I'll be available in the weeks preceding to plan, prepare in conjunction with you. It does sound daunting. The first event that I did sounded very daunting, but let me assure you there is always a great team of volunteers. Mind you, I know I'm talking to to the converted here. All you guys have probably been very, very involved in many, many things over many, many years. So, but this call will be going out to all members as well. Let me assure you there will always be a great team of volunteers willing to help out on the day. Not sure, give me a call, send me an email, or come chat with me after the meeting to discuss what's involved. So following that, there is Christmas at Coolandilly, the last weekend in November, which will be coordinated by Sue and Ken Duffy, and followed by the adult Christmas party, Saturday night, the 2nd of December, which will be coordinated by Stuart Robinson. We've once again booked Reevesby Workers Club as our venue. So finally, if any members have ideas of new social events that the club could look at running, please come and see me. I'd love to have a chat with you.
Thank you very much, Debbie. Now, Land Manager report. Brian's away, but Rob Alexander would like to have a bit of a chat.
Evening, folks. Just a little bit of a report on the working bee at Willow Glen last, the 27th, 28th of May. Fairly small attendance, about 8 or 9 of us all together, but the amount of work that was achieved was quite phenomenal. The property over the period of time since the challenge has been run has obviously started to get very overgrown. Lots of dead black wattle trees, stuff that had fallen. There was a very large gum tree that had come down in the canyon, blocking the track along up the creek event. We managed to clear that, drag off a couple of the main logs and just get the other debris to one side so it was out of the way. Cole did a major repair on the chassis of the fire tender trailer, and that's all been fixed up now. Barry Lenigan was involved down there on that weekend, coordinating the burning of the 2 piles that we built, or the main pile out towards the canyon, and a second one up on the front portion of the property. The fire brigade from Windellama were there with about 6 or 7 engines. They were doing a training exercise that night, afternoon and evening driving with their vehicles. We did a fair amount of clearing of fallen stuff all over the property and then trying to get it all into piles. Alf Johnson spent 2 full days virtually mowing the properties. The top block completely, all that flat ground from Willow Glen Road down Millendale Road's all cleared and looks really smick at the moment. And also the campgrounds on the bottom property. And in between, a trip into Goulburn to get some spare parts for the mower. It busted one of the spindles that the blades spin on. We also relocated the equipment such as mowers, mixers, spare tyres for all the club trailers that are down there. All that stuff's now been brought in to the new container, which is where the verification office is for the challenge. So all in all, with a crew of David and Heidi, Jason and Leslie, Cole Morby, Alf and Pat, Barry Lenigan, myself and Carol, and Chris and Marie, we did achieve a fair amount, and it was very pleasing to see those people that did turn up made a major effort to get those jobs done. Thanks very much. We have another working bee at Willow Glen on the 22nd, 3rd of July. Love to see you all there. We've got to try and get some of this overgrowth area cleaned up. Cheers.
I was just thinking, Rob looks like a good candidate if Brian decides not to be land manager. You know, we think he'd learn really quick. You're doing very well, mate. Membership report, Robin.
Thank you. Okay, so at this stage we've got 12 new memberships that have joined the club, which now brings us up to 831 memberships, okay, in total. We've had a few 200 series, a few more Prados, and a Lexus also joined, okay, as well. So there's varying different types of vehicles that are joining the club. Okay, we've also got 239 members electing to receive the magazine by email only, so steadily climbing in that section as well. Thanks.
Thank you, Robin. Four-wheel drive activities report, Ian.
He tells me I've got to lift it myself. Okay, apparently it works better if I have my notes open. We had 2 trips recently added to the website. They both feel pretty quick. If you do want to go on any of the trips, you've got to be checking at least once a week because they go real fast. Recently completed, Abercrombie River National Park, iconic mining towns that went via Coolandilee and Urangery, and a monkey gum recce which had to change to Turon because of track closures and other things like that. We've currently got 2 trips, one in Alice Springs to Perth, one doing the southwest Queensland and across, going forever. And then coming up, Blue Mountains Explorer, a Sturt Desert, Channel Country, Edge of the Simpson, and the Boulia camel races. And keep an eye on the trip reports. There's some interesting ones coming up in the magazine.
Thank you, Ian. Now, general business from members, and I believe Katie and Vonnie want to have a little chat. I'm not sure who's going to be the leader and who's going to be the follower.
Thank you. Oh, what a gentleman. Oh, no. Well, we just like to talk about Sally because we both worked with her all those years. You can't hear me? Better. And she was really the really interesting part of this club. Always put color into everything. Going on a trips with her was always exciting because she'd get either lost or yes. or would I bought her a nice cow's bell, so that we could hear where she's walking. And she was fearless. She would just go into Wenlock River, and lucky that we saw her, and she nearly got washed away because she was so tiny, so she just couldn't. so it was Wayne Beck and Steve, they just got her, luckily, just on time before she went down into really, really bad waves. And but look, she was full of life, always positive, always prepared for any fun and helping hand here. And we will miss her. So I hope that Katie's got the same sentiment.
I do, because we're both long-term members of this club, and we've gone through a lot of activities in the way back, where maybe a lot of you wouldn't know happened. Some of the funny, Hello, my name's Katie. Can you hear me? Sorry. Yeah, so we've been around Sally and Noel for a long time, and we've had lots of fun with them. And even though she's got a small physique, she's like a pocket rocket. You know, she's here, there, and everywhere, and she always introduces herself to all the new members just like that, because she's a sticky beak, and but a good one, you know, and gets to know them really well, and introduces them to other people, and makes them feel comfortable, which I think is really good. I love Sally and I love Noel, and Sally's the boss and Noel is her backup.
Yes.
So we just say, yes, yes.
Yes, as we always say, behind a great woman is a very good man.
There you go, guys, you're right. So thank you. And Sally and Noel, well, they're not coming because of ill health and driving at night time, not because they don't really want to be here, but I think under those circumstances, that's the right way to do. But we'll still see them around.
No, we'll definitely be already planning to take them out for a lunch somewhere
and I'm
in the
allowed
near
to-
future, you know, so while they still can, and that must be at lunchtime because Noel can't drive at night.
Yeah, and I promised to take some egg sandwiches for her.
That's us.
Thank you.
Anybody else got any story about Sally? And I know she'll be greatly missed because it's not the color she put into everything, really, and joy of life. So, unfortunately, she just had to stop.
Okay.
Thank you, Katie and Vonnie. Just for any newer members here who may not know, Katie's talking about them having been around a while, but Katie and Vonnie and Sally, who they were talking about, are all life members of the club. So yes, they have been around a while. And I saw the look on Max's face when Katie said that Sally's the boss over Noel. I thought, poor old Max, I think he's in the same position. But and of course, Dushan doesn't have a chance with Vonnie. We know that. Okay. General business and committee. I have none. Greg? No. Alan? No. Ian? No. Robin? No. Debbie? No. Okay, we don't have a guest speaker tonight, so this is going to be an awfully early night. But Sergeant at Arms, and I know that Sue is away, and I think that Norma is going to be shouldering arms instead.
Thanks, Anna. I usually don't need a microphone, but still. Good evening, everyone being the whole 39 of us. I think it's a record small crowd. Yeah, Sue and Ken Duffy are indeed away, wandering around Andorra, North Spain, South France, and doing what the club was designed to do there, four-wheel driving. Now, I didn't think there was any four-wheel driving in the Pyrenees. I thought it was all little paved roads, but apparently they've found some clay and plus places to have a good time as well. I need victims tonight. I need someone to roll the barrel and do the barrel. I need someone to write down names. Now I heard two new names tonight, David and Pauline. Victims. Victims, would you like to come up and so that we can see our benefactors to start with, and thank you for your contribution, and maybe one of you might like to, it's obviously only one of you, it's only going to be Pauline. David's not coming. As we said behind, well, most women, most pairs, yes. Here's the boss, yeah. I bought 3 Coles cards. Now, even fellas can use those. Everyone eats. So the first one is A37. And they're all going to be the same because I only used one book. I was lazy. A37, some lucky winner. Yes, you'll have to go to Coles. Congratulations, Vonnie. Well, it wasn't me. It was the good drawer, or puller outer. 28. Thanks. Phil. So far, 2 life members out of 3. So far. Spend it well, Phil. Thanks, Pauline. I folded them well, didn't I? 58. Terrific. Now, I know it's early, but I'm not paid to come up here and entertain. I can't dance. I used to be able to sing, but can't anymore. I didn't bring the guitar. You're all very lucky. So, good night, everyone. Enjoy your supper.
Thank you very much, Norma. That was hugely entertaining. Gee, this is pretty terrible. Yes. Oh, sorry. Oh, Colin, you did mention it. I'm sorry.
I just sort of give you an update on the memorial that we've got a grant for. If you have a look up the back of the room there tonight, I've brought all the plaques in, so you can have a quick squiz at them. I've got the flagpole. I picked that up on Friday, and I plan on taking it down to Coolandilly on, when am I going down there? Wednesday. And I've also picked up the Gabion, and I was hoping, because it's going to be a bit of a captive audience down there on the weekend, we might have a bit of a rock collecting competition. So I was going to hit Debbie up for that. There's an awful lot of rock already at the where the little plaque is at the moment. I plan on using that, but you're probably going to need some more. So, yeah, that's right. That's one of the things I looked at was, having to cart anything down there. There's plenty of rock, and it's probably sympathetic to the nature down there as well. So, but yeah, there's the 2 plaques, the ode, and then there's the actual story, which is exactly the same as what's down there now, and then the 3 crests for the Navy, Army, and Air Force. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, Colin. For those who might not remember, but it's not that far back, Colin is our immediate past Vice President, and he's still working away getting that Anzac set up. So thank you, Colin. Yep, Rob, sure.
Look, I'll just reiterate a few things that Kate and Vonnie have just said about Sally. For those that have never travelled with Sally and Noel, they are an absolute wonderful couple to travel with. They get involved immensely. Now, I know that Norma and John might remember one particular karaoke night. We were over in, I think it was Cape Range in Western Australia, and we decided to have this karaoke night. Norma came along with a unit that you plug into your car stereo, and away we went, microphone in hand, and we sang all sorts of wonderful songs. But this was going to start about 7:30 that night after we'd had something to eat and enjoyed a bit of company with a few, the things that we have just before we have a big meal. We all got organised. I think we had to dress in pink, didn't we? we all got organised and got around the campfire or whatever it was we were around, and I said to Noel, where's Sal? He said, she's gone to bed. I said, what did you do to her? He said, oh, she had a couple of drinks earlier on, she's gone to bed. So we spent the night without Sal there and had a wonderful night. I think we ended up singing all sorts of songs, but it was good fun. And another particular time I was on a desert trip through Western Australia. We were on the Ann Bedell, and we decided to go to the monument, Mount Bedell, where there's a theodolite mount, or an imitation theodolite, mounted in a wire cage. So Sally, being the colourful person she was, she decided she'd make a bit of a display for the day. Tony Price, who led the trip that time, said, okay, we all want to stand around the theodolite. We'll get a photo, can go on the front of the magazine. Sally turned up in a bright green tutu. She stood right in the front, and Tony just said, Sal, get to the back. We're not having you in the front. So there was lots of fun things that went on, but Sal was the life of the party in a lot of places. They had their 13th wedding anniversary on that particular trip. We were in Bunbury, I think, from memory. The rest of it, they were going out to celebrate they're going to have dinner together and celebrate their anniversary. We were all sneaking around looking for, come on, get out of here, go. So they went. We filled their tent with confetti and balloons and God knows what. You know, they got back and they took all that in great humour. It was just amazing to see. They never complained anyway whatsoever. So we really do owe a lot to Sally and Noel for the effort they've put in. And I think that, somewhere along the line the club might like to respond with some sort of a surprise for them. Cheers. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. I think the club may well do that, and I still think I owe Sally and Noel and Bonnie and Dushan a luncheon at the Malaya in town, so we might get onto that fairly soon. And I'm sure Sally can still eat hot food. Okay, look, thanks for all the wonderful talkers tonight, and we still couldn't quite. Oh yes, we actually beat 8:30. So I'll declare the next general meeting will be held here on Monday, the 3rd of July, and I declare the meeting closed. Thank you very much.